I got the new Costco thingy. Oh, we can talk afterwards. Never mind. Let's just go ahead and go do that, and we can talk about Costco stuff after.
Yeah, I mean, I did already turn the voice on, but we can talk about Costco stuff now. But first things first. Hello, everyone, and how are you doing, Mama?
All right. I'll put my chips away so I'm not crunching.
Yeah. But we were talking a little bit about like Costco stuff before we hit the live button, but I don't know if there's anything wrong with putting that on stream. So,
Just in case
yeah,
there is, I would not.
Okay. I mean, I can't think of any reason that it would be a problem on stream.
I don't know. No need to invite trouble, though, in case it is.
And, I mean, I can't think of a reason of why it would be.
Oh, copyright laws and all that stuff. Even though it's not a copyright, it's a company. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we're not advertising, or we're not like paid sponsors or anything. So, anything we're talking about would just simply be stuff that we're talking about. But I don't know. I mean, that it would just be free advertising for them. But anyway, doesn't matter. We can talk about it afterwards if you prefer. So we did Sudoku yesterday. So assuming there aren't a ton of updates, ready to just go ahead and hop into a puzzle?
Yep.
All right. So let's go ahead and hop over here to Arrow Cartwheel by Whitman. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits on an arrow sum to the number in the attached circle. And all digits on circles, including arrow circles, must be odd. And all digits on squares must be even. Alright.
Well, that narrows down the arrow circles.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and highlight 2, 4, 6, and 8, and even. Everything else seems to be odd. Although, I got confused immediately. Anything that's got a circle is odd. Anything that's on a square is even. Alright, I have
well, the
succeeded.
5 arrow is easy enough.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know the arrow tip up there where the green 2, where the 2 is.
Mm-hmm.
The arrow tip is going to be odd since
Right.
the sum is odd.
Now, each of these arrow tips, I guess their maximums. Well, there's no way they can be 8, because an 8 paired with 2 1s, although none of these could be 2 1s. So an 8 paired with a 1 2 is 11. So a 6 paired with a 1 2 is 9, and I believe all of the arrows, circles, can still be 9. Yeah, because this is our only 9, like and it doesn't overlap with any of these. So 6 is still
5. Oh, sorry.
Possibility. 4, except for this one. because this can't be 1, 2, because of the 2 there. And this one can't be 6, because that can't be a 1. In fact, this is 2, 3 minimum, which is pairs of 4, so that's fine. That's fine, that's fine.
Row
Okay.
5. Oh, yeah, row 5. The 2 end ones
Mm-hmm.
are both even because the 5s are even odd pair, which gives us 4. Or 5 odds. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Plus, they're 1, 2, 3, 4, so they had to be the high digits,
Right.
and there's only 2 odds in each group. I guess I can go ahead and mark that as 2 or 6, because there's 4 and 8. This one's 4 or 8, because there's 2 and 6. 4, 8 here, 2, 6 here. That's everything but 4. That one's everything but 2. Why not? Five, 7, 9. I have a feeling we're gonna end up alarm. I think these are gonna end up being 9. Because we know that each of these are an odd even pair. And we're gonna have to put a 4 on here. And this one specifically. Okay. We have to put a 4 on this one specifically.
Right.
And 4 and 2 is 6.
Well, the
So
arrow
this is
tip,
a
if
1,
4
4.
has to be one in those two, the arrow tip can't be a 4. Oh, yes, it can, because it can repeat if it's up there.
Yeah. This one could be a 4, and that one could be a 4. But this one can't be a 4, and that one a 4. But it could still be 4, too. This one, or no, I'm gonna go look at this one. This one, well, I couldn't.
Well,
No, I could still put a 6 on here. 6 or 2. Obviously, a 1 would work. But 2 and 2 is 4. So I can go up to 5 in that one. And I guess this one's going to have the same thing. 1, 5, 2, 4. That one's not a 2. 2, 4, and 6.
okay, I'm going to butt in here. Column 8, the 8 has to be in box 9. In box
Can't be here or
7,
there.
in box 7, the 8 has to be on the bottom row because it can't be 2, 4, 6. So which place is the 8 there? Box 1, the 8 can be placed. No, it can't.
Well, it can't go in here, and you've got an 8
Well, it has to be in
here
the
and
center
here.
column.
So that pulls it out of those two. And this 8 here. So yeah, it can be placed.
Oh, okay. Oh, right, because it can't go on the arrow. I knew that.
which is actually going to place it in box 2 because it can't go on the top or bottom, or excuse me, top or middle now. It's not odd, and it can't go on an arrow for a 5.
And it has to be on the left side of box 5, so in box 8 it can be placed as well.
So 8 is here, here, and here, here.
Yeah.
I can't. 1, 2, 3. And one of those is even, and one of those is even.
And
If
they
these were
can't
both
be even.
right, because there's
If they're
already
even odd.
3 evens in both of these. Well, that
completes the evens in those 2 columns.
yeah. So this one's 8, and that's 8, and that's not 8. And
so everything uncolored in columns 7 and 8 are odd.
one of those is 4.
So in row 5, box 6, that 1, 3, or 4 cannot be 4 because it's odd.
One, 3, 5, 9. 1, 5, 9. Oh, and this one has to be even. Because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 odds.
Right. Which is all 4 evens
6,
in row 9.
8. So this has to be 2, because it can't be 6. It can't be 6, 4, or 8.
Right.
But you said that was all of the evens in here, so the rest are odd.
Box 8 has 5 odds now.
This has to be 4, and that has to have a 4. So this one's a 2.
Column 9. Box 6, what's left in column 9 is an even odd pair, which is all the evens. So box 3 has 2 odds. Well, actually, we guess we could have gotten that anyway from what's.
Yeah. But if we have to have a 4 on here, this can't be a 6 anymore.
Row 2 needs an even. Or the last one left in row 2 is an even.
4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because this you've got a set of 3 evens here, which means only one of those 2 can be even.
Right. It's the same thing as it was with columns 7 and 8.
Yeah.
It's an.
Because one of these has to be even, and the other has to be odd. Therefore, one of these has to be even, and the other has to be odd. Okay. Brain wasn't processing that very well for some reason.
And wait a minute, wasn't that I thought it was even.
1,
even, 3. Yeah, it's
1,
even.
2, 3, 4. Oh no, it has to be one of the 2. Even. My bad. Although 4 and a 2-4 pair means that this isn't a 4, and that the even on here has to be 2 or 6, but this one can't be a 6. 1 through 5. It can't be a 1. But if I were to put a 6 on here, well, I already couldn't put a 1, 2. And
Well,
2 and...
one of those two would have to be 2.
Yeah, so that's 6. And those aren't. Two and 5 is 7. We already knew that this was minimum 5, so that's a 7-9 pair.
In column 2, there are 3 that are that's even.
One of
Because
those
there
two.
again, it's an even odd pair, and they can't both be even in either column because there are 3 definite. Oh, I mean odd. It's odd, not even. Sheesh.
1, 2,
Because it's
3,
an
4.
even odd pair.
Yeah.
The same with column 3. There are 3 definite evens and an even odd pair, so it's 2 odds left over.
One of these is 6. 8 is even. Forgot to mark that earlier. 6, 7, 9.
Well, column 5, there's an 8 and a 2-4 pair. Everything else is odd, so that's the 6 at the top.
One of these has to be 6 because the 6, 7, 9 triple that axis that forces the 6 in here. So this one's odd.
Or box 8, there's a 2-4 pair, so that leaves a 6 in the last green and in box 8.
Oh, right, yeah.
Row 4 needs a 4, and it can't be the first digit because it sees 4 in the column. Column 6 needs an even. I'm sorry, row 6, not column. And it can't be a 4, so it's a 2 or a 6.
And the 2, 6 pair forces this to be a 4, meaning we can't put a 6 on here, nor can we put a 5 on here.
And
so one
5
of them has
can't
to
be
be
the
2.
circle at the end. And it can't be 7 either. Oh, yeah, it can. 1, 2 pair.
1, 2.
Never mind.
But the even on here has to be a 2. So this is a 6. That's a 2. That's a 6. But 2 and 2 doesn't mean anything. There's already a 2 there. Although this is a 1 or a 3, and this is 1, 3, 5, so this is a 9 and a 7.
The circle for the arrow that's in the circle in box 2 can't be a 5 anymore. Because there's a 2 and then a 1, 3. Yeah, so 6 is minimum.
Plus 1 for 7.
And in box 9 on the arrow, that's already a minimum 5. So the 5 comes out of there. But it
7,
can still
9
be
pair.
7 at this point. And those are all down to 7 and 9.
7, 9 pair. 1, 5 pair. 7, 9.
Looks like
5.
1, 3, 5.
This one's not 1. These are 1, 3, 5. That's not a 1. 5. 5. But one of these two has to be 3, so this one isn't. But this one's 9.
Oh, in box 9 on the arrow? And neither of those can be a 5.
Oh, right, because it's the 4 and the 5. 4, 1, 4, 2, 1, 5, 3, 2, 5.
That sums to 7.
Odd. Didn't expect them to have different values around here.
Right, and the in box 1, as part of that arrow, that's a 3.
Nice. Oh. There we go. All right. And then should have been doing this more, looking at the puzzle on Project Masters Germany. Oh, doesn't look like it's on here. So, guess I shouldn't. Arrow, cart, wheel, by. Alright. Save that. Then I wanted to do one of Elytron's puzzles. Let's try cage dots in the fog. That's the button I'm looking for. Sudoku pad. Alright. Cage dots in the fog by Elytron. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits along a thermometer strictly increase from the bulb to tip. Cells separated by a black dot are in a 1:2 ratio. Cells separated by a white dot are consecutive. Similarly, if a black dot connects two cages, their sums are in a 1:2 ratio. Similarly, if a white dot connects two cages, their sums are consecutive. Digits may not repeat in cages. Not necessarily all dots are given. The grid is partially covered with fog, and correctly placed digits will clear the fog around that cell. No guessing is required. Alright.
Well, that's a 1-digit cage, and it looks like a 2-digit cage.
Yeah.
But because it's going to be the sum of the cage.
Yeah.
Well, we know it can't be 1, 2, 3. But the
Wait.
single digit could be 4.
If the
What?
cells are separated by a white dot, then both then the cells are
No, a white dot
consecutive.
connects 2 cages. The sums are consecutive. It's
But it
connecting two
says
cages.
additionally, if a black dot connects 2 cages, or a white dot connects 2 cages, their sums are consecutive. Would that not mean that these 2 digits are consecutive and this cage sums to just simply 1 more or less than this cell?
No.
Okay.
Because in order if
So let's say that this one was a 5, and that this is two digits. You're saying that this could be 3 and no, not 3 and 2, 3 and 1. Well, yeah, 3 and 1 for a sum of 4, or let's say 2 and 4 for a sum of 6, where these two aren't consecutive, but that means that their cage sums are.
right, at least that's how I'm reading it. Either that or it would have to be like 5, 4, and 1. Or 5, 4, and 2, but the 5 and the 4 connecting. So that those 2 would be consecutive, but then because if you have the 5 and the 4, the 5 and the 4 are consecutive, but then the 4 and the 2 makes 6, which makes the 5 and 6 the cages consecutive as well, which would be really weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it would work in that instance, but which in the case of a 2-cell cage, it would have to always have a 2.
I think because of the fact that this is like, if I could do 5, 2, and 4, where these 2 don't have to be consecutive, then I'm not sure how else we are supposed to get this digit. Because if we can separate these 2,
True.
then if this was, I think that the logic is that these 2 digits and the cage sums are in a 1 to 2, excuse me, consecutive, both, because the reason for that is the word additionally here.
Right.
Because all we have to go off of is that this is a cage that is at least 2 digits. And a single cage is, if this is a 5, if this was 4, I couldn't just put a 4.
Right.
But it couldn't be consecutive. It would have to be 4 and 2.
And 2 for 6. So that both are correct as far
Yeah.
as the cells and the cages. Yeah. Okay. So even though we don't know what either of those first two are, that third cell in has to be A2.
I'm just trying to think if there's any other way, like if that were the wrong reading of the rules, if there was another way of going about solving it. Because, like, let's try a different digit. If this was a 7, and I didn't have to connect these, because if I did have to connect these two, then you would have to do 6 and 2. The logic we've already gone over. But if not, I could do 1 and 5. But I could also
Which is
do...
absolutely no insight into what any of those digits could possibly be. Yeah, that's...
Yeah. So I think this has to be a 2. And then 1 or 4.
Well, it's not going to be able to be 1. Oh, yeah, it could, because it's just the cages are...
Yeah, and now this cage, which is at least 15, well, the maximum that this can be is 11 now. Oh, but this is minimum 15. And maximum 22.
Well, the max the cage can be... that 2-cell cage in box 1 that has the 2 in it, the max it can be is actually 10. Because
Right.
go
A
down from
9
11
and
would
an
be
8.
yeah, because that's 9. So that would be max 10.
That makes this max 20.
Right. And that one can be anything.
Yeah. But this one does have to be twice this one, because this one's max 10 and this is minimum 15. So if they're in a 2-to-1 ratio,
well, that means that that box, they're the 2-cell box in box 1. Since that's going to have to be even.
Yeah. If this is minimum 16, then
that's max 8, or that would have to be 8.
Yeah, minimum 8.
Well, I mean because if it's 7, then you can't make... Oh, well, yeah, you can't make 14 out of 5 cells.
Yeah. But this one can be odd, because it can be 7 and 2 for 9 and make this be 18. 6 and 2, it's all allowed. Okay. This is just a digit that's larger than 2. These are a consecutive pair within the same cage. Although they have to be at least 3, 4, so this is minimum 7. Minimum 8. Well, if this was 3, 4, and 9... Well, none of this cage can be a 2. So it's 1... 15 minus 2 is 13, plus 6 is 19. but it can't be even, so it has to be 20.
So that's going to be 8 and 7.
This one an 8 and this is 7?
Uh-huh.
But 8 and
Or
2
no.
would be 10.
No, the other way. It's 8 and 7 for 7 and 9. Oh, no. It'd have to be 9 and 8, because that has to be 10, right?
Yeah. Because 10 going to 20, because
Right.
it can't be 19.
I was going the wrong way.
But it's going to have to be, because 1 through 5 is 15, but none of these can be a 2. So now that's only 4 digits, and I need to add a 6, but that would be 19, so I need to add 1 more. Well, the only digit I can move forward is the 6 into a 7, and then you can't do 1 and 7 with the rest of the digits that are on here, so this has to be a 1, because it can't be a 4 in either of these positions. And then it's just whether or not...
Right. Whether that's 3 or 5.
Yeah. Now, we have to have a 3 or a 5 in one of those. So this can't be a 4.
Or a 2. Or a 6.
Right, because one of these is 7. 2, 4, 6, 8. And we just said 2 because of the 1. We just said 4 because the 3 or the 5. 6 because it has to be a 7. And because of the 7, it can't be an 8. So this is 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9, but not a 1, and not a 7. Clearly can't be a 9, so it's a 3 or a 5. And then 2, 4, 6. But 4 for sure, along with that 4 for sure, places a 4 over there. 3, 5, 7. 1 is obviously out. 4 is obviously out. And now 2, 8, and 9 leaves us 6. 2, 4 pair surrounds a 3. No. None of those can be 3, but I still need a 3 because now neither of those can be a 5. So that's 4, that's 3, that's 2, that's 4. This is 2 or 8, but neither of those are 2. This isn't a 4 because it's in this cage. Black dot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. But this isn't 3 or 4, so this can't be 6 or 8. Oh, this can't be 8 because of the 8-9 pair. But this can still be 4 because 2. What's left over in this row? 8, 9, 2, 1, 6, and this one's 4. What's left over in this box? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Four and 6 and 2 is 12. Plus 8 is 20, and 3 is 23. So minimum 23. But we don't know how big this cage is yet.
Right. But you can't double. Well,
right.
yeah, you could, because it could wiggle around. But you can't
No.
But you can't repeat in cages.
Right.
So the highest the cage gets is 45. Well,
and 23.
and you're already 23.
So
that
this
has to be even.
And these are all even already. So either, and this is odd, so this has to be odd. Because 23,
Right.
10 and 10, 10, 12,
12.
and 8 would be 20. Because all of the evens are 20. And 3 is 23. Doubled is 46, which is
46.
impossible. So this has to be the doubled version.
Right.
And so it must be even. Well, those are all even, but that's odd, so that must be odd to maintain the correct parity, so 9 and 8. Just double going through that for make sure my sleep deprived brain is getting
right.
it correct.
Box 3, cell 7. We're 1-to-2 ratio for cages. That can't be a
Right.
1 because the cage is going to be more and
So this can't be a 2.
And it looks like it goes in both directions.
I think it has to take up all
The
4
whole
of these.
yeah.
But we know for sure it does take up these 2.
So it also can't be 2, so you can't make 4 in 3 cells.
Right.
So it's got to be
So
6.
6 and 3. And so this has to be 12.
12. So the last 3 are 9. Without a 3.
That's 1, 2, 6, isn't it? Because it has to be 4, 5, or 6.
Right.
And 4 would be 2 and 3, and 5 would be 1, 3. So,
yeah, so
it
it's
has
1,
to be
2,
1, 2,
6.
6. Um, 3,
Well,
5,
that's the
and
thing.
7. Go ahead.
No, yeah, that's 7 would have to go to 6 or 8. Or would have to go to 8.
The 4
5
is the
can't go to
only...
4 or 6 because it sees both 4 and 6.
Yeah.
4 sees
4 would
3,
go
but it could be 5.
3 or 5, but not 3. 3 and 7 are the even, or excuse me, odd going to even, so that would be 2, 4, 6, and 8. But 2, 4, and 6 are all seen.
Yeah, 3 goes to 2 or 4 and it sees both, so it can't be 3. Oh, there's a 5-7 pair in row 1.
So 4 and not 4.
Or
3,
5, that's a 3.
5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 1. 1,
Which
2, 3,
leaves
4, 5, 6, 9.
2, 1 and 2 in row 3.
This would have to be 1, 2, or 4. But we already know that 1 and 2 are gone, so that's a 4, that's a 2, that's a 1. Neither of those. Consecutive, but also the cages are.
28. The cage up at the top is 28 now.
Okay.
So that's
So
14.
this is 14.
Yeah.
Unless it well,
Right.
okay. Yeah.
I mean, either way, it's 14.
But,
8
yeah.
and 1, 2, 3. That would have to be the 1. That would be the 2. Yeah, it works at this point.
5 doesn't connect to 4 or 6, so the 5's out. The only even left is an 8, so 8 comes out of these. 8-9 pair means these 3 are set. 9, 1, 3, 6, and 7. This is a group of 4, 7, 8, 9, and 3, I think.
Yeah, it looks like it.
And 2, 4, 5, and 3. So it's 1, 6, and then 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 1, 6, and then whatever's left, whatever this digit is.
All right, in box 6, the right side of the Kropke dot, the white Kropke dot, yeah. The cage goes to the right, so that's at least 12. So that's at least 15.
So this has to be minimum 14.
So it either goes down or it turns left.
Yeah.
But 824 is 14, so. I guess back to looking at box 5, we know that that cage has to be sum to 14.
Right. Um, if this is an 8, then it would have to go 1, 2, 3. If this was a 2 and it was just these 3, then
Well, and it's going to have to be just those 3 because if it's like you said, if it's 8, it's 1, 2, 3, which can only be those 3. If it goes the other way, if it adds another,
that would mean minimum 15, which is more than 14.
Right.
Okay.
So it is those 3. So if it's the 8, yeah, go ahead and if it's the 8, we know what the order is.
Yeah. But if that was 2,
then those 3 sum to 12 without a 2.
um, but you can do like 1, 3, and 8. Um, 1, 3, 8. Or I guess I don't even need to separate those. 1, 3, 8. You could do 1, 4, 7. You could do 1, 5, 6. 2, 3, 7. 2, 4, 6. You do max 5, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5 is 12. Okay. But we said we can't use a 2.
Right.
So these are our 4 options for these 3. And 1, 3, 8 would go like that. 1, 4, 7. 1, 5, 6. But 3,
3,
4,
4,
5
doesn't work.
Right. But in either case, we have to have a 1 then.
Right.
So
that
that
has to be a
places
1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. And this isn't 1 or 8. And this isn't a 3, so that's not a 6. 1 and 4 removes the possibility for 2. If this was a 6, clearly that's a 2, or would end up being a 2. 2 and 6 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Oh, these are if this is a 2, these are 12. And which means if this is a 2 and that's a 1, these are 11, which would be 6 and 5 and 8 and 3. Because if that's 2, 8, that's 3. But if this is 2, 6, then that's 5. But I have to have a 2, which then means 2 is one of these 2, because one of those has to be 2, and one of those has to be 2. Because 6 and 8 is 14.
Right.
These 2.
Oh wow, look at the cage that goes from box 6 down. It now goes to the left.
Oh, hello.
And it looks like it goes down as well.
Yeah.
So it's at least 6 long.
Yeah, that's a very large cage. Which is going to make this one quite large too, I think.
Yeah. Although, if it has, because the one on the right of the Cropty dot has a lot of, looks like it has potentially a lot of large digits.
Mm-hmm.
Although, because it looks like it skips cell 3 in box 9. Because you can see the little bit of the inside corner there in box in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that could be the one that's being skipped over. So it could potentially have all high digits, whereas the other could have a lot of low digits.
Mm-hmm. Because we know that this goes down at least one more, and it takes these, and these all expand out. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And because we don't have this little bit here, it looks like it takes up this one as well.
Well, but we can't tell on the bottom because it might. Because it might only be the first cell in box 8 instead of those other two.
Well, because, like, the dotted line that we see here.
Oh, right. That's not in under fog anymore. Those two.
Yeah.
Right.
So and this little corner
Right.
here doesn't have
Isn't
that.
there?
So I think this contains all of this, which is 9 digits. Which means that this is 45, which means that this one has to be 44.
Which would be everything but 1.
And 1 has to be down here.
But it could be in that little, but it would be in that little cutout, which is what I said earlier. Oh, that could be the 1 because that would put everything else as being large.
Yeah.
2, 3. But I don't see both 2 and 4. I suppose it could continue on to the left.
I don't know if we need to think about that one yet, though. I'm going to fill out the rest of this box. We know that 1 and 2 are definitely within here.
Right.
But it could be 6 and 5. So 3, 4, 6, and 9. 3, 4, 7, 8. 7, 8, and 3, 4, 5. 8 has to be one of these two, so this one isn't an 8. If this was 8, then you get 2, 6, and 5, and that would end up being a 3. So that would end up being a 9, and a 7, and a 4. Well, actually, where can 4 go? It has to be one of these two.
Where can... Oh, nope, 7 has 2 spots it could be. Well, no. Oh, nope, never mind. Because I was going to say, it's got to be in the... But I see it's 2 spots in... Or 3 spots in box 6.
Three, 4, and 2. 9, 8. Unrestricted. There might just be too much over here then. If this is 2, 8, then this is a 3. If this is 2, 6, then this is a 3. So this one can't be a 3. So we get 3 in one of those two, so it has to be here as a 2, 3 pair.
Four. Look at... where's 4 in row 6?
It's not here, and we just ruled it out of this one, or what? We just ruled it out of those two, so it has to be here.
Yeah.
3, 6, 5, 9, 7, 2, 8, 6, 2, 5, 7. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 8, 9.
4, 8, 9.
And 1, 5, 7. 4, 8, 9. Yeah, and now for certain this has to be this region for
Right.
45, because now we can see this and it has to go down. Oh, and we know what these three are. 7, 8, 9, 3, 4. 3, 4, 2, 6, 7. 4, 3, and
7.
and this has to be 1, 8, 9. So this isn't 1. Two, 4, 5, 6. So 6 is one of these two, so it's not that one. 4 is one of these two. Oh, I guess 4 is just simply removed from there. So that's a 4, not a 4. That's an 8.
That's an 8. And the 1-9 in the box, orange box, places the 8. Resolves Kropke dot in box 6.
I'm going to leave this as orange for the moment. 8.
Alright, we know that box that you're highlighting, or yeah, that box cage that you're highlighting has to be 8 long.
Yeah.
Because the only way to get to 44 is minus
1.
Is minus 1. It's 8 long and minus 1. 2, 3.
It's going to have to take all of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And one more of these.
Okay, there's only one spot for a 2 in all of that.
So it takes that one. So not a 1. And this has to be 22. And this is 13, so this is a 9. 8. 4. 9. I was about to say 2,
3.
but those are consecutive, so that's 3. But not a 9. And we already have a 9, so this is 6, 1, 9. 1, 9, 2, 6. Okay, I don't think I need the coloring anymore.
Okay, well, row 9 needs 3, 5, or 3, 7, and 6.
So it's not a 3.
Well, that column 3 needs 1, 5, and 7.
Four, 9, 1, and 6. 9, 2, and 6.
We have consecutive cages in box 4.
Those are 6.
13.
And this probably goes down to grab the last one, but we don't know for
Orange
certain.
is minimum 19.
So this would be minimum 18. If this was a 7-8 pair, that would be done.
Yeah.
Three, 4, 5, and 7. I guess, where can 2 go in this row? It's ruled out of these 2 by these 2 2s. This 2 rules it out of those. And 1, 2, 3, it's already ruled out of there. So that's a 2. Which means this does continue downwards. And then, where is 8 in this row? Well, this 8 rules it out of all of that. That 8 out of there. This 8 out of there. Clearly 8 isn't 2, and 8 isn't 9, so that's an 8 and that isn't.
3, 7 pair in row 8. One, 4, 5 triple in row 8.
So that's an 8.
10, that's 13. So 19 or 20.
So, you said this was 19 minimum?
Minimum 19, which would be the 1, 5.
And
Uh,
1 7 would be
7,
2 more, would be
21.
22.
Either way, it has to have the 1. Oh, right.
Right. This couldn't be 5 7 because
Right,
that would
but
be
1 and
12.
7 is 8 and would make that 21.
And
So,
and
but
this would be a
18,
6.
19, or 19 or 20, 21.
But
Either way, that has to be a 1.
6 7 5 1 7 5 7 5 1 4 5 7 3 7 3 4 6. Nice.
I like that. Oh,
Yeah.
it took a lot longer than 45 minutes. It didn't feel like it was that long. Do you have your?
Column 1.
Do we have any commenters?
No, actually, no one stopped by today. Wait, 7. At least no one has stopped by so far.
Right.
I'd say this puzzle was hard. Because there's a lot of, I mean, just the first step requires some complication, and while I think the word additionally clears up the ambiguity in the rules, this at least solidifies that the ambiguity that's possible of the dots being
Right.
applied to both the digits and the cages is cleared up, because if it weren't the case that it applied to both the digits and the cages, then you couldn't, you would need
You
more
couldn't
information.
start.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like that, I think, is really important to clear that up. So I'm not trying to say that as like a mark against the puzzle or any. I think that's a good way of clearing that up, making sure that the solver understands what's
Right.
how that's going to
That
work.
not only is it, yeah. No, I really liked that one.
Yeah. But there was a number of different places where like this had to be like a certain, like this, the way that this 2 the thermo here rules the 2 out of here made this minimum 19, which gave us the fact that this had to be an 8, 2, and a 9 there, was really neat. And that I don't think is an easy, or I don't think that's an easy deduction. And then the odd evenness here, and the fact that this was what, 28, but it was minimum 23, and how it had ended up having to be even, so that these had to have the same parity because everything else was even. Like that wasn't an easy deduction, I don't think. And this one having to be these 4 and how those options work together. I think this one was a fairly difficult puzzle. Well, we didn't struggle with it too much. But I think that's mostly because you're awake today and I'm still not, but But yeah, no, that was a good one. So copy that into my little notes. H dots in the fog by Electron. I guess I already had that up here, but I don't want to use the Sudoku pad link. But yeah, alright, cool. I want to do another puzzle from the Cracking the Cryptic channel. So let's grab this one here. And over to the window we were using. Make sure that, yeah. So we've got Weird Arrow Man by Adam Jaziri. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Arrows, digits on an arrow sum to the digit in the attached circle. Digits may repeat on an arrow if allowed by other rules. And Kropke white dots, cells separated by a white dot, contain consecutive digits, but not all dots are necessarily given. 6, well, this is minimum 6 and 3 places a 9. This is
Same with
minimum
that one.
6 and 3 is a 9. 6, 7, 8, 9 for those 3. But we know that these are 1, 2, 3. We know that those are 1, 2, 3, and we've got 1, 2
1,
pairs.
2.
And now this is minimum 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
So this is maximum 2.
And the same with the one in box 3. Either way, that has to be a 3 on the, because it's either 3, 4 or 3, 5.
Which is gonna, the 3s line up.
A match up, yeah.
So it places a 3 here, which takes 6 out.
So it's either in box 1, the arrow is either 1, 2, 6 for 9, 1, 2, 4 for 7, or 1, 2, 5 for 8, because you can't use a 3. So it has to have a 1 and 2 on it. Which makes sense because look where the 1s and 2s are in row 1 and column 1.
Right.
Which would have been an easier way of seeing it, but...
Yeah.
So does a Kropke dot in box 6 have to be a 7, 8? I'm sorry, in box 7. Box 7, my...
Because the digits over here, you definitely have 7, 8, and 6. But you also have 4 and 5. Now, 4 or 5 has to be here.
Right,
so you can't put
3
a 4
has to
here.
be on there.
But I guess technically this could be 5, 6.
Okay, yeah.
And the same logic applies up here, where we have 5, 6, 7, 8. but 4 is allowed to be down here.
All right, in box 9, there's a 1-2 pair in column 8 and in row 8. So 1s and 2s have to come out from there. And you can't have one on the Kropke dot because that would be a 2 and you can't do that.
Right. And it can't be a 2 on the Kropke dot either, because it would then have to pair with a 3, but the 3's ruled out of
3
it.
has to go there, right.
And these can't both be 1, 2.
Right.
And
the same with
these
the
can't
column.
both be. So if this was 1, 2, it would have to be one of those two. So this isn't 1 or 2. Okay. Red, blue. Blue, red, blue. Red, blue, red.
Row 4 can't be red.
Trying to well, okay, if this can't be red, then those can't be red, and this one can't be blue, so those can't be blue, so this can't be 1 or 2, and these can't be 4, 5, or 6. Blue and red.
Okay, well now they're in box 4. There's only one blue, so it can't be 3.
Right. Did I do that right? Yeah. Because that had to be red now, and then one of those had to be blue, so that had to be blue. And then that rules it out of there, and there. Yeah, okay. And then, I guess, where is blue in here? Well, it's not there or there, so you've got blue. And then
Okay,
where's
row
red?
2 and column 2 are 1, 2, 3 triples, which places the 3 on the arrows. Sorry.
These 4 5s end up being different now as well. So that actually makes this a 6. Because we know that these two sum to 6.
Right.
And if this is
Right.
1 and that's 2, then that's a 4 and that's 5, and reverse it. So
Right.
since these two are different and they both see this, this is a 6.
That's a 6 and a 9 on the circle. Hey, I was right about the 7-8 pair.
Oh, and then where's 9 in this row and this column? Well, it's not in here. It's not these, and it's not in these here. So those two are 9.
So column 2, the top of that is a 4 or 5. And so is row 2.
Okay, if this was not a 1, 2, then you could have a 1, 2 like this, but you couldn't have it like this, because that would make that a 3, but then those would have to be a
Right.
1, 2 pair, and this can't be, clearly. In fact, we know that this is minimum 3, and these are minimum 4, so these are actually minimum 7, which actually just makes them a 7, 8 pair.
Well, and
3,
7
4,
is 1,
5.
2, 4. Well, they both have to have the 7 and 8. Oh, no, because it's 2 cell, not 3. Never mind.
This has to be a 3, because those can't be the same.
Right. Well, I was looking at, for some reason, I was seeing it as 3 cells instead of, because in box 5 where they join together, I was seeing that as 3 cells. Oh, it's 1, 2, 4 for the 7, but then what do you? So yeah. Well, if the 1, 2 pair is on the arrows, then it puts 6 on the arrow tips. On the
Yeah.
arrow tip there in box 5.
But I guess an important question to ask is, where is 9? So because these two 9s rule out of here and here, and you obviously can't
Right.
put a 9 on an
Put it
arrow,
on the arrow.
so that rules it out like that. And then if this was
That's
1, 2, then one of those two would be 1, 2, so this one isn't. That's a 1, 2 pair. And you said this is a 6 because 1 pairs with 6 to make 7, and 2 pairs with 6 to make 8 in some fashion.
which leaves 4, 5 in the box. All
What's
right.
this
Well,
one?
where does
7, 8, right?
yeah?
You've got 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 3. Yeah, 7, 8. And then it's got to rotate here. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Where was what?
Well, no, I realized that I was off in what I was thinking, so never mind.
This has to be 3, 4, and 5. Or this one isn't a 3, so this one isn't a 5. And the same thing here.
Well, and you can't have 4, 5 because 4, 5 is 9.
Yeah. So these have
So
to
it's
both
3.
be 3.
Which reason?
blue,
Yeah.
red.
Well, that's all the 1-2 pairs.
Mm-hmm. I kind of want to paint this like this.
Well, then clear out the red and blue on 1 and 2. Because we don't need that anymore. Well, it would make it easier. So just give 4 or 5 different colors.
True. Well,
Green
the
and
reason
yellow.
I want to do them this way, it's probably better to do different colors anyway. Orange and green. And now this one's orange and that one's green. This one is gonna go to green and this one's gonna be orange.
Okay, well, if you look at box 7, the one that's just 4-5 is going to be orange. Because
And
the
this
other
one's gonna
one
be
is
green. So we get orange. But yeah, because these can't be orange, so it has to be
right.
there. This one's orange, 4-5. So this one's green, 4-5. This 7-8 is that 7-8.
Row 6 is 4-5-9.
6. You said, wait,
Row
no,
6.
6. 4-5-9 here, you said?
Uh-huh. So orange in box 9 is on the right-hand side. Because there's 4-5-6 and 4-5-9 in rows 7 and 8.
Yeah, because this had to be orange and that had to be orange. So this one's green then. Because that has to be green.
And the 2 in column 6 have to be green.
Right, because they're 4-5-9.
4-5-9, yeah.
And that's
So that
green,
puts
and that's
green
green.
in box 9. And 4
So
can't be on the Kropke dot. Because it sees 3 in both. It sees a 3, and it can't be 5. So
5, 4, and 8,
that's
7, 8, 7, 5, 4, 5.
well, 4 and 3 is 7. So box 3, the 9, 4 and 3 is 7. So red is 2.
Seven, 8, 8, 7, 6 and 8, 7, 8, 7, 8.
The circle there in box 8, the elbow has to be an 8 and the circle's a 9. because it sees a 3.
Be there. 4, 6, 4. So this one's a 7 then, to make 9 as well. Because it sees a 3, so it can't be a 5.
Right.
Six,
6,
3, and
9.
yeah,
That was fairly speedy.
yeah. Is this one on Logic Masters Germany? It is. Row 5. 825 491 637. And that one was nice. I don't know if I would say very easy, just because I don't know if I would necessarily consider because we did like the painting, and there was some logic with like from the painting that this had to be different from this one, which placed
Right.
that. I think it's still an easy puzzle, but it's not a very easy one because it required a little bit of advanced logic here and there. And I guess advanced may not necessarily be the right word, but at least a little bit of extra logic here and there. So I think I'm going to mark this as easy rather than very easy, because there's definitely a few spots that you can get hung up here and there, but it was still a very nice puzzle. So submit on that one. Yeah. All right then. I mean, we still have 19 minutes, but I think my brain is cooked. So,
Okay.
we can tackle another puzzle if you want, but I think
No, if you're
I'm at
done,
my
then you're
limit.
done.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I think I'm just gonna switch over here to the thank you for watching screen, just because my brain is so fuzzy. But yeah, so thank you for watching, anyone who watches this back. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that fancy YouTube engagement stuff. Share the video and all that. We will be doing more Sudoku next week. But before then, scheduled is Project Zomboid on Thursday night and Friday night, although it's after midnight Eastern time, so pay attention to what YouTube actually says if you're wanting to catch those streams. And then I'm still playing Horizon Zero Dawn throughout the day whenever I'm awake and have the time to play it. But yeah, other than that, anything that you want to say before we sign off, Mama?
I not that I can think of.
Alright. Then, that was all the things, so have a good night, everyone.